beautiful friends. I'm here today to do a moonlight reading with you. And although you can see around me it's nice and bright and sunny at the moment, um, I'm tapping into that beautiful moon, full moon energy that right now we're all feeling to at least some degree. So I felt a calling today to come out and to share a little bit of inspiration because see, I couldn't help myself. I came right to this spot right from the very beginning. So I get the sense that there's a little bit of suffering out in the world right now that is happening that doesn't really need to happen. So let's see if we can clear some things up so we can let go of some of the confusion that's been ruling us lately and the conflict and that feeling of we're not getting it right and that people aren't listening to us or understanding what we're trying to say or where we're coming from. Let's move out of the need to hold on to the physical, to the material, to the enslavement of our thoughts and minds, and let's bring ourselves into a greater understanding of the completion of things, of where we actually are right now on the evolutionary process, as we actually collectively rise up in consciousness. So I want to come on here today to give you a little bit of ease around what you might be feeling. At the moment, there's a lot of push-pull, back and forth, black and white, this and that kind of energy working its way out. So chances are you're meeting up with people who are either in conflict or who are somehow feeling conflicted themselves. I'd say more themselves than everything else, because this really is an internal process, although we're all doing it together. In actuality, this is a person by person kind of experience. And we are all interlinked and we're all working beautifully together. And this is a communal kind of experience. But at the same time, we're transcending certain barriers as we come up into a new lightness of self. We're literally becoming enlightened. And just like the sunshine coming in, there is sunshine within you, within all that you are. So as the energy around us intensifies, some of you might be familiar with the Schumann resonance and you might be monitoring it. There's a feeling, there's a kind of a two-part feeling. On the one hand, you can feel very exhilarated, you can feel energized, you can feel creative, you can feel like things are really working out for you. But on the other hand, if you're in resistance or if you're not actually moving with that flow of that active, intelligent energy that's coming through, then you're going to find yourself in the not so comfortable receiving end of this energetic push. Because right now, if we were to look at the Schumann resonance, for example, just as a simple one thing, and look at the intensity right now that is happening. So if you were to go onto the Russian Space Observatory, I can post a link at the bottom of this video to that observatory, so you guys can have a look as well. And you notice the white lines of intensity. Okay, so the white lines of the graph, that's letting you know the intensity of the energy. And even if you're not really good at reading the numbers and the graph itself, what you'll find is that just by watching the patterns of intensity, you can begin to match it up with how we're feeling. And if you look out into your world and you start to sort of observe objectively, so you don't get involved and entangled in people's problems or challenges, but you simply observe with loving and compassion, you're going to start to see quite a trend as how people behave matches up with and aligns perfectly with those really big pulses of energy. So whenever we get a really big pulse, generally speaking, there's an acceleration stage where the energy's coming in, and you either get excited and you start feeling really good with it and it actually enlivens you, or if you're standing or sitting in a lot of tension, stress, unresolved trauma and pain, resistance of any kind, even fear about just what's going on as it's happening, that very tension creates resistance in your body, and in that way that same energy can't move through you in a flowing manner, and it creates points of pain. And the points of pain are always going to be those areas in your body that still have unresolved issues that have to be worked out. And how you're going to get through that is an individual process. we always like to endorse and encourage people to tap and release, because we know that being able to just correct and continue on the spot can make all the difference in the world. Because as we're sitting and standing and living in this active energy all around us, although it's completely invisible to the eye, it's very feelable to the body and very feelable to the psyche. And so a lot of what's happening too right now, which is spurting on that feeling of back and forth and this and that and the opposition, and the feeling of maybe things aren't working out for me, is a feeling, a sensation our body's having as it's adapting to this energy. So along with the discomfort and sensations like that, you might also feel emotional discomfort, and you might also get emotions that actually come up as a result of that energy hitting your body, because your body is interpreting that pulse as some kind of threat. It doesn't understand what it is any more than you do. It's just adapting and going with it and having to move with that energy. So if you're in harmony with your body and you're listening to yourself and you're feeling good, then chances are that you're going to be feeling okay through this. And you might have some aches and pains. You might feel tired. A lot of people are reporting that they're having a hard time sleeping. But all these things are just passing stages of this overall evolution. And as the energy intensifies around us, please understand, it is both a um, it is both a showcase, and like it's showing us that the earth is changing and growing, and that there's actually changes happening in the entire collective experience of what it is to be us here having a human experience. But it's also letting you know, it's letting us know individually that the human collective energy is rising and peaking. And oftentimes what we're seeing on the Schumann, we like to call the human resonance, because it is the human pulse that is being felt out into the world. And yes, interpreted sometimes through these graphs and through people as just energy coming at them. Some people get really scared and they think things are coming at them. They think, bad things are happening, dark energies and things like that. But in reality, it's just the body perceiving this energy, feeling it, sensing it, looking to you for resolution and for understanding of what it is. And if it doesn't get that, and especially if it gets negative reinforcement that there's bad things happening to it, you better believe you're going to start to feel tense and like not so great things are happening for you. But again, this is all just part of the process. And the more you can relax into it, the more you can just let yourself feel that this is natural. Oftentimes, it's really good to step into the more intellectual solutions, to actually reach for the things that actually convince you that you're safe. So simply looking around your environment and saying to yourself, okay, in this moment, I'm safe. In this moment, I am, yes, I can breathe. I'm all right. Everything's going to be all right. I am doing well. Things really are working out for me. And just little by little, in whatever way feels right for you, because clearly I'm never going to be able to give you exactly the right words for you, because it's your words that are going to ultimately convince you. All I can do is just keep assuring you that it actually does work this way. And I'm going to encourage you to be patient, to be really patient with yourself at these times, to take the time you need to rest. We're all feeling this from day to day. Some days you will feel glorious and you will look 10 years younger. The next day you're going to wake up, you're going to be stiff and sore, and you're going to look 10 years older, and you're not going to understand why. And there's really no need to dive deep in and try to figure anything out. Just monitor how you're feeling from moment to moment and tend to the emotions that come out as they come out. So it's more important right now for you to be aware of how you're feeling in any one moment, and to resolve and release that emotion immediately and not wallow and sit in it. Because when you're wallowing and sitting in it, it might feel justifiable. You might feel completely, yeah, absolutely, I should be upset. This makes sense to be upset. I mean, look what happened to me. And I mean, the list can go on and on for all of us. But for the duration of time that you're feeling that way, your beautiful body, which is the house of your soul, which is the thing you're trying to stay in here as you're trying to make sure that you endure and keep thriving, healthy, happy, and living a long life, you're punishing that body. intoxicating it. You're flushing it with all those hormones and negative reactions that is causing it to actually fight for itself and to kind of sometimes not be in unison with you, or at least that's how it feels, because your body is actually trying to hold on and make it through this really intense energy. So right now, if you can support yourself, that's going to be the best thing you can do. But there's definitely a need in us to let go of this false sense of ego, this unwillingness to be open, this looking at stuff like it's the most important stuff, getting caught up in, all the worries. I mean, this card represents pretty much every negative physical, material, 3D thing there is out there. And it never feels great to land on it, but it always has the same message. It's time to let go of our enslavement, whether it be general enslavement or specific enslavement. But it's time to set ourselves free, to literally set ourselves free in body, mind, and spirit of this very constrictive, restrictive, holding on to energy, and simply just dissolve it. What if we could actually forget all the bad and start to finally remember all the good? What if we could turn the story and begin to say something more positive and uplifting? What if we could begin to fall in love with love? Oh my gosh, it just feels better even just to consider it for a few moments. And you can't help but notice the lightness in the body as soon as we just flip the conversation or the page or the picture to something more positive, something more meaningful, something more that is truly in line with who we are. Because love is really who we are. If we weren't love at the very core, if love wasn't all that is, then good, well, let me put it this way, then bad would never be able to exist. You see, only good would allow bad to exist. If bad was the core of all that we were, bad would make good go away. But because we are good, and we've always been good, and the very core of who and what we are is and always will be good, then ultimately the very true source of all that is also good. And if it is good, now we can have reason for why bad still exists, because only in a world of goodness would bad be allowed to still be. However, it is always going to be our preference to move towards good, because that's who we are, and it feels good to be good. It feels good to be who we are. It feels good to stand in our true nature. It feels good to let go of emotional entanglement. It feels good to let go of restriction. It looks good to let go of painful energy. It looks good. It feels good. It feels good. It feels good to let go of these painful entanglements. So we're going to encourage you to be the radiant love that you are, to radiate it out into the world, because you can't even help it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which direction you shine. When you shine out love, you fill up the whole space. And all we are is good, and it rejoices every time you remember who you are. So remember, you are compassionate, kind, open. You are, devoted. You are radiant energy. You are positive life, positive relationships, positive opportunities. The only thing we ever have to wait for or ask is that sometimes you're going to have to be a little patient with yourself. Sometimes you may have to practice a little bit and help yourself out of those uncomfortable moments. But This is all moving much faster than we really any of us realize. And I realize I've already talked for about 26 minutes because it's so easy to talk with you guys. And there's just so much to say. The energy is active around us every day. Every day it's more feelable. And every day people are becoming more and more psychic. Every day they're starting to feel things more and more. And yes, there's more confusion out there. And yes, things look really weird right now. And yes, there's all kinds of things happening that we've never envisioned prior to 2020 that were going to happen. But could you envision it any other way? Is there any other way we were ever going to break free of the restrictions we created in our own version of reality without putting some things aside and breaking some things and uncovering some things and putting light to some things? And isn't it nice now to see where there was darkness that maybe now we can clean it up and it'll get better? Isn't it better to know than not to know? I say it's better. It's better to shine the light, face the mess, clean it up, and then correct and continue and move into a thriving, beautiful new world we are co-creating, because, friends, we're all evolving and that is not changing. And it doesn't matter who says what storyline they're trying to feed you. The bottom line is the main event at this moment is the collective evolution of the human race. We are coming up as a species, collectively and individually. Every single soul on this planet is going to be feeling it in one way or another. Those that remain, that want to be here, will have the opportunity to live a new kind of life in their bodies. But it's going to take a little bit of work. And you may have to be a little patient along the way, and you're definitely going to have to be really loving to yourself, because that is the way through. And you're going to figure out somewhere along the way that when we say love yourself, in actuality we mean love everyone else, because you are as much them as they are you. And no matter where you are in your level of understanding, how there really is no outside of us, just understand that in your heart you've always been good, and it's always going to feel good to be a good person. So just be that. Be the good person you know you are. Live the kind of life you've always wanted to live. Be the kind, compassionate, loving person, the good neighbor, the good friend. Be the best version you can be in every day. And if you stumble and fall, it's okay, that's fine. Just get up and dust yourself off and give yourself a hug, and for goodness sake, say something nice to yourself. And then keep going and just continue to be the good person you are, because that truly is the way into this and out of the turmoil and pain. And you'll find every day that if you focus just on this one thing, just being honestly and genuinely who you really are, which is good, you're going to find that your days become brighter and lighter, and things little by little will start to make sense. So have a beautiful evening, day, night, afternoon, wherever you are, and wherever you are out there in the world. Please know that we're all in this together in the real sense of the words, in the sense that we really are evolving together. This really is happening for all of us. And we'll just keep helping each other as we move through this, because tomorrow is yet another day, and then we have another day. And if we're lucky, in the sense that if we finally begin to bless and really truly enjoy this gift we have of this day we have, then we will continue to have many more blissful, beautiful days built on a foundation of community, love, compassion, understanding, wisdom, and a true sense of wisdom and unity from within. I love you so much. We love you so much. Blessings. And visit us at Give Up Pain if you want to talk to Danny and I and have a reading or a session. We're here. We're here to help in any way we can. Blessings, friends.